Just another work week, right? I took a day off today from, from my mediation and did some modeling, believe it or not, some fashion modeling, which was kind of cool. We do that several times a year. A couple of ladies organize it, and then we go to different places. Today we went to, went to a place in the Woodlands here, which is, it's called a conservatory, and I want to say, it's a place where people of an older generation, shall we say, go when they don't want to look after their houses anymore. It's not, I think it's on several levels, but I think the main level is you kind of rent a place, it provides meals and all the rest, and there are different levels of help you can get, or no help, which a lot of people there seem to prefer. So we did the modeling, and it was kind of cool. Some people recorded it. So a day off from mediation. But I'm not taking a day off from the daily reading, and I have a couple of quotes for you today. I found one, I liked it, and then I saw another one, and I liked it. So the first one is actually from yesterday. If you wish to advance into the infinite, explore the finite in all directions. That was Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. And the other one is from my calendar, which says, Helen Keller, one can never consent to creep when one feels an impulse to soar. That might seem counter to our title today, Negative Motivation, but it isn't. First quote's from Robin Sharma, who says, the fears we don't face become our limits. The fears that we don't face become our limits. And how true is that? And then this is a really famous quote from Ernest Holmes in the Sermon by the Sea, which he gave at a place called Asilomar, which is on the coast of California, where they used to meet each year. And actually, that's Asilomar, the meeting, the gathering there is actually the time, not really too long ago, I became a practitioner. Well, I guess it is a while ago now. So, Asilomar, he says, find me one person who is for something and against nothing, who is redeemed enough not to condemn others out of the burden of their soul, and I will find another Savior, another Jesus, and an exalted human being. Sermon by the Sea, Ernest Holmes, Asilomar. I thought I heard a cat behind me, but I don't see one. And then Reverend Robin asks us, what inspires you to action? There are dynamic forces that drive motivation, positive and negative. Negative motivation, rooted in force and fear, pushes us away from undesirable situations, which can be good at times, right? For instance, if you do your work because you're afraid of what will happen if you don't, negative motivation is operative. And obviously, that's not ideal, right? Then she says, in contrast, positive motivation will be doing excellent work so that you could be considered for promotion. You could also say a motivation will be doing excellent work just for the sake of doing your best. Negative motivation is a push away from a situation rather than a pull towards it or a pull towards a goal. She says the above quote from Ernest Holmes, the Asilomar one, encourages us to focus on what we stand for and not what we fear. Negative motivation means we act out of fear instead of aiming for new opportunities that come after facing our fears. Think about the difference between these two situations. One is, I'm scared enough, I won't have enough time or money if I retire, so I'll stay at a job I dislike. The other is, I want to spend more time doing what I love, so how can I make sure I pay my bills? I'm open to new ideas. Kind of ambivalence about those, But anyway, some people are in jobs that they don't like simply because that's all that they can find by virtue of their skills, unless they decide that they are going to use visualization, positive thinking, and keep doing it until the perfect opportunity arises, which, if you believe all the experts, will happen. Just like athletes visualizing scoring goals, making great track records, and so on and so forth. We know visualization works when we do it properly. So, in other words, I've read that you don't have to stick in a job you don't like forever. But what I read was, if you do the job that you're doing now to the best of your ability and at the same time hold that a better opportunity is coming up, the odds are that the better opportunity will arise somehow. But every job is worthwhile. There was a quote, and I think it's from Isaac Newton, who said that if two angels came down from heaven, one to sweep the streets and the other to lead a nation, neither angel would think that they had a job that was inferior or superior to the other. That's an approximate quote. And that kind of sums it up, because as I used to ask people working for me, who would you miss first, the janitor or the CEO? In the office, the answer is obvious, right? You don't want trash piling up. Where were we? Okay. She says, by examining the contrasts, you can view your own goals and notice if any of it's based on fear, and consider how you might shift to focus on positive results. Once we shift from negative to positive motivation, bringing our motivation into affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment is what it's technically called. In other words, we affirm things. We don't plead for things, beg for things. We affirm things. It's a great way to fill ourselves with confidence. Affirmative prayer naturally aligns with the creative process, with what we want more of, rather than what we want less of. Some other people have said, what you focus on comes about. What you think about comes about. What you think about, you become. And the things that we really have to concentrate on is not always what's going on at a conscious level, but what's going on at a subconscious level. Be aware of our thoughts, be aware of our thinking. And when we find those patterns that are not supportive of us, then our goal is to change those into patterns that do support us and hold that until the good thing comes about. And I do try to practice what I preach in this regard. Do I always succeed? Absolutely not. But am I always there reminding myself when I have negative thinking coming in to switch it over and turn towards the positive? That I do. When I realize what I'm doing, I stop and I turn towards the positive, because we're human beings. And as we said before, fear is not necessarily a bad thing if it's keeping you safe. But fear can be a bad thing if it's keeping you trapped in something you don't like. That is my motivation for today. Tune in to Reverend Lisa Ryan tomorrow morning, 9:15. Tune in to me tomorrow evening. Oh my God, what time is that going to be? It's going to be early, probably. It's either going to be between 4 and 4:30, or it's going to be after 9 o'clock, all Central Time, because I got a full schedule tomorrow afternoon and evening. So there we are. My knowingness for each and every one of us is that we concentrate. I'm knowing for each and every person here, including myself, that they concentrate on what is positive and meaningful and brings life in a good way to themselves and others. And I release this into the divine mind, calling it done, in gratitude, saying, and so it is. Until next time.